Good morning, guys. We're Yulee Hornets. On my right, on the farthest right, 77 is Braylon Crowder, plays offensive line, defensive line. 14 is Jalen McGraw, plays linebacker. Ethan Byers, wide receiver. Lee is our quarterback. Braylon Jones is a safety. And Amari Goff, number 9, is a linebacker. Just a little bit about our last season. We finished 9-3, 8-2 in the regular season. Had a really good group of kids that built a lot of foundation in what we're trying to accomplish. They had a great season last year, tied the school record for wins in the regular season, and had 2 home playoff games to finish it out. This year we're looking to build on that tradition that we've kind of put forward and put together and build on what we've done in the last 3 seasons and get back in the playoffs and have a chance to go multiple rounds. Hopefully if we do things the right way, we can have practice on Thanksgiving morning.
And Coach, y'all showed a lot of good things in the spring versus first. Coach, can you just talk about building out that going into the summer in hopes of having a terrific upcoming season?
Yeah, one of the things I'm really happy about in the first coast game is you don't really know at what rate some of those younger kids are going to develop. We played, they were freshmen then, we sophomores this year. We played 15 of them in that spring game, and a lot of them made a lot of plays. JJ Etienne had 5 tackles for loss in that game. He was one of the linebackers. Tegan Rebane is another linebacker that had 7 tackles. Preston played really well at quarterback. Without a couple drops and a couple of our plays in the end zone, I mean, he probably would have had 1 incompletion and a couple touchdowns. There were a lot of guys. We had an offensive lineman play really well in that spring game. Really, what was really pleased to see is how the young kids were ready for the task at that time. You just never know how those kids are going to develop. If they're mentally ready, you know how physically ready they are, but how does it match up against somebody else? And they really stood tall to it. I mean, I believe you were there that first coach game. It was a tight football game. I think you get 4 quarters, you never know how that's going to turn out. And I was pleased with the level of execution we had, especially with how many young kids we had playing.
And speaking of young kids, Coach, real quick, TJ Williamson, can you just give me your quick thoughts on him and how special that kid can be?
I mean, I think everybody knows about him. He's dynamic. He's been dynamic for the last few years. Seeing him grow up in green and gold and watching him play. I mean, they play on Tuesday nights. We practice right next to him. When our middle school scores a touchdown, we go celebrate it with them even at practice. We stop practice and we run up there and run there and celebrate it with them. It got to a point where we stopped doing it because he scored so many times. And he's a really good athlete. He works really hard, takes his craft very seriously, does a lot of things outside of what we just demand of him. And he's up for the task. You see him competitive in moments. He kind of shines in those moments where somebody else, where he's got to rise to the occasion. He's a really good athlete. He's gonna be really good for us this year.
All right, Yulee Hornets, thank you very much.